Good morning, everyone out there in Radio Land. This is Todd, your host of the Market Beat. We're coming to you live from the New Black Wall Street Market Radio, New Black Wall Street Market, and I have got an epic special guest to introduce to some and to just talk about and edify to others that know this young man. I'm so glad to be talking to Dr. Umar Ifatunde Johnson this morning about his visit he's going to be making to the New Black Wall Street Market this Sunday. He'll be speaking at 2, but doors are going to open at 11. Make sure you get here early to get a seat. And even if you don't get here early, just bring your behind down here because it's going down on Sunday at 2 p.m. here at the New Black Wall Street Market. So without further ado, Dr. Umar, how are you today, my brother?
Peace and Pan-Africanism, my brother. Glad to be with you. And I want to give a good Marcus Garvey shout out to all my brothers and sisters in Stonecrest, Georgia, at the Black Wall Street Market, Atlanta, around the good state of Georgia. And I'm very much looking forward to my first visit on Sunday to the Black Wall Street Market. I can't wait.
Oh, man, we can't wait either, brother. I'm telling you, the energy has been buzzing around here ever since we put the flyer out. People coming, we're expecting a huge crowd. And I know you've got some valuable jewels to drop. So we're going to get right into some of those jewels and what some of the people can expect when they come to hear you speak on Sunday. So basically, this is the Black Economic Conference is what the overall umbrella issue is here. And I know you speak extensively about that. You've touched on that subject and from all different angles over the years. But I have a few questions that I want to ask you just to kind of feel out and get some information out there about what people can expect when they come to see you. So first off, in your opinion, what is the fundamental barrier to impacting Black economic growth in America today?
It's a lack of cultural identity, cultural cohesiveness, and cultural loyalty. We as African people have bought in so much into this multicultural colorblind concept that America has pushed upon us that we don't feel guilty when we take our Black dollars to other people's communities. If you observe the economic behavior of Asians, Arabs, Latinos, East Indians, Anglo-Saxons, European Jews, they feel guilty when they spend their dollars with people outside of their community. We don't feel as much guilt. And the reason we don't is because the American identity has superseded and overtaken our American African identity. So we have to get back to pushing a strong foundation of African community first, African culture first, and we have to stop divesting from Black businesses, and we have to stop empowering the very system that is oppressing us. Simply stated, there will be no Black power without the Black dollar. We're always talking about Black power, but we fail to recognize that that might be the numerator, but the denominator is the Black dollar. Without the Black dollar, there is no Black power. So we have to start marrying our political consciousness and our political education to our economic situation and our financial destiny.
Wow. Thank you for that answer, man. You almost covered the whole interview almost really in that one answer, but it's all good. We're going to keep it moving. So in real time, boots on the ground right now, what should Black families be doing right now right now? Yeah, what should Black families be doing right now to prepare for that?
Yes, sir. I believe that Black families in every neighborhood should be coming together to invest in some sort of an institution, business, or entrepreneurial initiative that's going to promote longevity financially and economically for their grandchildren's grandchildren. One of our weaknesses as African people, as you know, we tend to think for our own lifetime, our retirement, our children, occasionally our grandchildren. But when you look at the economic behavior of other groups, they don't plan financially for their life or their children's life. They plan for the grandchildren of their grandchildren. So they're looking 6 generations down the road. American Africans are only looking 1 or 2 generations down the road. And we have to change that mindset because it comes from the plantation. As you know, on the plantation, you didn't know if you would survive 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So we never really took a serious interest in our financial destiny because we were the property of other human beings. And because there was no guarantee on your life, Black people in America never had a long view of their future. And we're still operating under that slave consciousness. We have not evolved into a financial empowerment consciousness. And that's the next step in our destiny.
Wow, wow, wow. That touches on a lot of different things. And some of which we'll get into here, but I know some of you are going to get into on Sunday as well. One thing that's kind of been on my mind and pretty much been on everybody's mind, we're looking at a possible second Trump presidency. And, you know, Trump, just mentioning the name Trump brings all kinds of thoughts to one's mind, right? So in your mind, what do we need to do? First of all, I guess I can ask, what is your opinion of what that means for Black people if we have another Trump presidency?
I believe that the agenda for the American African community, for both the Democratic and Republican parties, is extermination. I believe the tactics are simply different. The Democratic Party plantation's agenda is to basically starve us out and replace us with brown people. They're going to use immigrants and migrants to push Black people off the table of relevant conversation. That's the Democratic strategy. We're going to overtake Black with brown. The Republican strategy is different because they don't like brown people or Black people. So what they're going to simply do is keep on empowering Caucasians in order to make sure that they remain in charge of the resources, opportunities, and privileges in this country, which basically leads us to the same result, which is economic starvation and extermination. You know, more than 100 years ago, the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey told us that a race that depends upon another race for its existence sooner or later dies. He predicted 100 years ago that if Black people do not financially organize themselves, we will be economically starved to death. And that is exactly what America is plotting to do to Black people right now. We're dealing with the highest homelessness rate that we've had since Dr. King walked the planet. We're dealing with the highest gentrification rate that we've seen since before the civil rights era. And all of these issues can be traced to one thing: economic dysfunction and financial diarrhea. The big difference between African people and other groups in this country is most groups buy things to empower themselves and empower their people. Their money is used to invest in the group. Black people never invest in the group. They invest in themselves, but they don't invest in the group. Our spending behavior is largely out of a desire to achieve comfort and pleasure. We are comfort and pleasure junkies. Our entire economic agenda is about achieving comfort and achieving pleasure. Other groups are using their dollars to build cultural power.
Wow. Wow. Heavy stuff. Heavy stuff. One of our mantras here at the New Black Wall Street Market, and you'll see when you come here, we have banners all over the place. Ownership, ownership, ownership. You know, and we feed into that on a daily basis. Our very existence is based on that. The founder and the creator of the New Black Wall Street Market, that is his mantra: ownership, ownership, ownership. We have to own more in order to have a bigger impact, and even to employ our people. You know what I mean? It's just something that has to happen. So on that note, in terms of the lack of support of Black businesses, often by Black people, what do you feel is the roots of that? Is the root of that issue, and how do we change that narrative in our communities?
Great point. And I have three ideas on that. Number one, convenience is the mother of purchase. If we want Black people to support Black business, we have to make it convenient for them to do so. That takes me to my second point. Black businesses are not organizing with one another to make sure they are exploiting and capturing the Black dollar as effectively as they can. Well, one of the things I like about the Black Wall Street Market, although I haven't been there, the fact that all those businesses are in the same place guarantees what? Convenience of an opportunity to capture the Black dollar. When I leave out of one store, there's one next door. When I leave out of that store, there's another one next door. So built into that physical arrangement there is the opportunity for every business to benefit off of a single customer, because the businesses are not spread out all over Georgia, all over Stonecrest. They're in the same area, almost like a mini Black Wall Street, which is what y'all call it, the new Black Wall Street market.
Yes, sir.
So that is the strategy that we need to employ and spread across America. The other reason why we're struggling is Black businesses are not promoting other Black businesses. You guys are doing it, but you guys are in the minority. As I travel throughout the world, as I travel throughout the country, most Black businesses operate in isolation. You don't see any advertising of other businesses along with them. So one of the reasons we're losing is there's too much isolation, too much competition. This should be a frequent Black shopper's card. If you get your hair cut at this barbershop, you did a discount at that restaurant. If you eat at that restaurant, you get a discount at this Black-owned nail salon. You get your discount on the car wash. You wash your car over here, you're going to get a discount on your real estate closing. You're going to get a discount on your dentist bill. You're going to get a discount on your physical checkup. We should be driving business from our business to the next one with a frequent shopper's card or benefit package. As I said, you guys are in a good place because all the businesses are right next to each other. You can't go to one without seeing the other. The next stage is to introduce that frequent Black shopper's card where you automatically get a discount on your next Black business purchase because you supported my Black business.
Wow. Powerful stuff. And that is a conversation that will be had for sure here. I'm just glad that you're able to come and see what we're doing here. And most of the time when people come in here, they fall in love with this place.
I'm sure.
And not only is it beautiful, just the energy that you feel when you come through the door. When I first walked in here, I took over 1,000 pictures.
Wow.
I had my camera with me. I said, let me go check this place out, see what's happening. 1,000 pictures, I kid you not, are in my SD card from the first visit I made here. And you know, it's just an amazing place. So kind of building on that last point that you made, education. I know you are a licensed clinical psychologist, and you've worked in schools all across the nation, and you know that arena very, very well. What needs to change in education in terms of our youth in order to propagate that into the future, propagate that same notion that you just mentioned into the future, infuse that into the culture of our young people with all of those distractions, the social media, the TikTok, the this, the that. What do we need to be doing right now in our homes and in our schools? And it may not even be in, and when I say our schools, I say that, you know, intentionally. What needs to be happening right now in terms of educating our youth to propagate that vision?
That's a great question, coming on the second day of the 98th anniversary of Black History Month.
Yes.
Two things our children need to be taught: who they are and financial science. Because if they're taught the history of African people and the history of the American African struggle for freedom, justice, and equality, they will see that economic equality and economic rights has been tied in just as stringently as civil rights or human rights. So once they know who they are, they now have a loyalty to the community. This way is when you teach them financial science and economic science, they will naturally marry their financial strategies, their businesses, and their financial agendas to the best interests of the Black community. As you know, we have a lot of American Africans who are very well known in the know and astute when it comes to economic and financial science. But their hustle to get paid isn't tied to anything beneficial to the Black community. They are in pursuit of the dollar simply for the sake of selfish self-aggrandizement. We need our children to be in pursuit of the Black dollar so they can build the institutions that we need: the hospitals, the banks, the supermarkets, the distribution networks. We need those things. And so by teaching them who they are and giving them the financial and economic science to go with it, now our children are not only able to build business and grow business, but they also are naturally going to be tying those businesses into the Black community to satisfy the needs of the people. In other words, if you know who you are, but don't understand financial science, you're going to be at a disadvantage. If you understand financial science and don't know who you are, you're going to end up exploiting your people. But if you know who you are and you understand financial science, everything you do economically will have a benefit built into it for the Black community.
Powerful. Yes, yes. I love that. I love that concept that you just laid out right there. I want to touch again briefly on politics, right? Politics, say what you want, it's driving a lot of things that happen in our nation, right? I've heard a lot of talk about, we need our own black political party, this and that, which I agree with. We do, in many ways, need that. Um, are there actually ways for us to operate inside this current political system to affect the change that we want? Or in your opinion, do we really need to just abandon that system, or do we need to walk in both worlds?
You need to walk in both worlds.
Mm.
We absolutely need a presence in mainstream politics. The reason why mainstream politics isn't working for black people is because we're disorganized. Another reason why mainstream politics isn't working for black people is we have gotten trapped and seduced into participating in this Republican Democratic dichotomy that doesn't have any agenda items for the black community on the table. What we need to do is divest from both the Republican and political party plantations, come up with our own political union. I'm of the opinion that you share. You don't necessarily need a party. What you need is a union of black votes. And once you have a union of black votes, you can now call the Democratic National Convention up and say, listen, I control 20 million of the 50 million American African votes in this country. Before we cast any vote, your candidate has to come to the black community and have a conversation with us. And then you call a Republican National Committee. You say the same thing. We control 20 million of 50 million black votes. We're not casting a vote for anybody unless you come and meet with us directly, because we're voting not as Democrats or Republicans, but as black people. Once you organize the black vote along a black community platform, you will automatically get the attention of the major candidates because they can't live without votes. The problem is the black vote matters to everybody but black people because we're so disorganized. This is why we can't hold the president accountable. This is why we can't hold our governors accountable. This is why we can't hold our mayors accountable, our city council persons accountable, because yes, we do vote, but we don't vote together as an organized block of black votes. And for that reason, when someone does wrong to the black community, we can't punish them politically because every black vote was a schizophrenic, helter-skelter, every black person for themselves vote. Marry the black votes together. If we don't marry the black votes together so we can live, the black vote will ultimately kill us.
Unity is the common theme. Every time I hear you speak, unity is the common theme. And we see what unity can do to impact the nation, even if it's peaceful unity, like Dr. King gave us the example of, just coming together moves things in this country. And I 1000% agree with you. We need to organize intensively and intentionally. Last question. What are the top 3 to 5 things that an attendee of this conference can take away, that you hope that they would take away from this conference? And after that, I'm just going to let you take it away and just give folks what you want to give them right now. Whatever's in your spirit.
Absolutely. Number one, it would be the example of the Black Wall Street market itself. That black organization and financial organization is possible. That's number one. Psychologically speaking, just being in the environment, they're going to be motivated and encouraged to build for themselves by seeing all these black businesses come together, therefore dispelling the notion that black people can't work together, especially when money is on the line. The Black Wall Street market itself dispels that notion. So number one, you have to look at the psychological impact of the Black Wall Street market itself. Number two, black people need to start thinking financially, not just politically and not just socially. We're always talking about social justice and political justice and criminal justice. Well, guess what? You better start talking about that economic justice, because part of the reason so many black people are in prison is because they're robbing, killing, and stealing to feed their family because they don't have economic opportunities. So talking about criminal justice without economic justice is a joke. Talking about political justice without economic justice is a joke. Why? Because we don't finance candidates. And the reason we don't finance candidates is because we're not financially organized. If we put our money together, we could control the behavior of anybody who gets elected in almost any office in this country. But in order to control political behavior, you got to control the political dollars. So I want our people to start thinking about that. Number three, loyalty, racial loyalty, and cultural collectivity and connectedness. That is going to be important, because the reason we're so economically devastated is we're not culturally cohesive enough. Most groups have a glue. They have an unspoken of connection with each other that guarantees they're going to support each other even if they don't know each other. Slavery destroyed that, and the American multicultural propaganda system destroyed that. We got to get it back, because once you love your people, once you care about your community, you naturally buy black. So we have to have an entire renaissance of loving black, being black, and wanting to be black and supporting blackness. The next point I'm going to go on is financial discipline. We have to start practicing financial discipline. We spend too much money with people who don't look like us, buying things we do not need, which is basically a divestment from the black community and an empowerment into other communities who are actually working with the power structure to destroy us. So we have to recognize that dollars are weapons. We have to recognize that bank accounts are weapons of mass destruction and mass construction. And black people's economic behavior is without question tied to our political, social crisis that we suffer from. So black people have better start being more disciplined with their spending habits, so we have enough disposable income available in our hands to build the things that we need to build: the banks, the schools, the hospitals, the supermarkets, the manufacturing and the distribution. Without that, we will lose. The future of America belongs to those who have the common sense and the self-love enough to create a reality for themselves.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And, folks, I just want to tell you all who might see this, make your way to Stonecrest, Georgia. If you don't live in Stonecrest, get to Stonecrest. Make your way to the new Black Wall Street Market in Stonecrest, Georgia on Sunday. And I'm just going to say anytime before 6 o'clock, just get there if you can get there and hear this powerful young man speak and really soak in and put a handful of jewels in your pocket that you can apply right now at home and in school and anywhere else that you may dwell as a black person. Lastly, I just want to give you the floor right now and just let you take us out. Whatever's on your spirit, whatever's on your heart right now, just give us whatever you got right now, and then I'll close us out with a couple of just quick comments.
Absolutely. I would give you a quote from Queen Mother Harriet Tubman, Araminta Ross, who said that she had freed hundreds of slaves, but she could have freed thousands. The problem was they didn't realize that they were slaves. We as African people need to wake up and recognize that someone else is controlling our financial behavior, that we are under a hypnosis, we are under a spell by the American power structure to divest from our own people and empower everyone else around us. The black dollar has to become as selfish as everybody else's dollar. The black dollar has to become prejudiced against touching any hand that is not black. You don't have to be prejudiced, but your money has to be prejudiced. Until the black dollar never touches the hand of someone who's not black, we will never be free as a people. Our dollars have to become prejudiced against other groups, because in order for us to get where we need to be as a race, the black dollar has to be loyal to black people. And it cannot do that if it does not discriminate. Black dollars for black power.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining me today. I know your time is busy, and I kept you a little bit longer than I intended to.
Problem.
But brother, I really appreciate it. I look forward to shaking your hand once again and meeting you again in person. And folks, just make sure you get to Stonecrest, Georgia, New Black Wall Street Market. Visit us online, nbwsm.com. MBWSM Radio. You will hear a rebroadcast of this and possibly the speech that he will give on Sunday. But until then, I just want to tell everyone, God bless you. Brother Umar, God bless you as well, brother. Safe travels on your way here. And I look forward to seeing you. And folks, tune in, tap in. This is New Black Wall Street Market Radio. Peace.
Peace, brother.